Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mary, and together we own Natural Plus Nursery in Clear Lake, Iowa.
We are your favorite backyard nursery, serving North Iowa since 1978. We sell trees, shrubs, and perennials and love sharing our seasonal family business with our kids and you.
Here you'll learn about the plants you buy from us, how to care for them, and never before told behind the scenes look at our lives as nursery owners. This is the dirt from Natural Plus. Here we grow. Hello, welcome to The Dirt with Natural Plus Nursery. I'm Mary Hopper, and I have a guest here today, Johanna. She is our vendor from one of the nurseries that we have gotten trees, shrubs, perennials from for probably 47 years, a long, long time. And so I brought Johanna here today to answer some of our pressing questions, the questions that we are curious about with the plants and what to plant and where to plant and why we want to plant certain things and all the things. So we're going to jump in today. Johanna, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Good morning, Mary. Thanks everyone for watching or listening. My name is Johanna George, and I'm a territory sales rep with Bailey Nurseries. Bailey Nurseries celebrated 120 years in business in 2025. It's a family-owned business, much like Natural Plus, headquartered in St. Paul, Minnesota. We have growing operations across 5 states, and we're a wholesale nursery. So we're doing breeding work from the ground up and supply garden centers, nurseries, landscapers, and other growers with anywhere from starter material all the way through finished product that the homeowner is ready to take and install. I've been in the industry over 20 years, mostly at retail garden centers, and a huge background in design, and joined Bailey Nurseries in 2024 as a sales rep. So excited to join you today, Mary, and talk plants.
I'm also excited. You have been a wealth of knowledge for us. We've learned so much from you just in the 2 years that we've gotten to know you. So thank you for that already. And I can't wait to share this knowledge with our customers and our friends who are listening or watching today. We're going to talk about when you take your plant home, what can you expect? So we're going to talk about in general. So, Johanna, tell me, I buy a lilac, a bloomerang lilac from Natural Plus Nursery, and it is a plant that came from Bailey's. And I get it home. It's in a 5-gallon pot. It's beautiful. It's blooming. It's May. It's gorgeous. It smells delicious. I get it home. What next? What can I expect? How do I care for it? All the things. Tell me everything.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So you've selected a tree, you've transported it home safely, you're ready to put it in the ground. So kind of from start to finish, this plant has a dependency on you, a certain amount of dependency. And I like to kind of describe this as give and take. We want to raise our children to be adults. We're raising adults. We're not necessarily raising children, and it's kind of no different with a tree. So first and foremost, that plant is dependent on you. At Natural Plus, along with other nurseries and garden centers, you'll get high quality suggestions for how to handle, how to plant, how much to water, what kind of care that tree is going to need. So once you've got it planted in the ground, here in northern Iowa, I'm in southern Minnesota, but most of you are probably in northern Iowa. We're hopeful for about an inch of rain a week. We have had a roller coaster of seasons the last few years. Wet in the spring, bone dry all summer. Last year we finally got some consistent moisture throughout the year, but now look at winter here, we're kind of on the dry side. So each year is different, and we're looking to provide that new tree with about 1 inch of rainfall a week, or one good soaking every 7 to 10 days. I like that 7 to 10 gallons of water every 7 to 10 days, or 5 gallons of water every 5 days if it came in a 5 gallon container. And that's kind of a good cheat sheet because what we're looking to do is provide moisture, but then also withhold it. Because if we do not withhold moisture and the soil never dries out, there never becomes airspace in the soil. And roots need airspace to extend and get established. So we want to provide moisture, but then we do want the soil to dry out in between waterings so those roots expand and go looking for moisture. And that's what gets that plant established. Of course, with an ornamental and even shade trees, it's windy. We all know this. So you'll consider staking. Consider staking in a fashion where they can move in a normal breeze. You kind of build that core strength in a normal breeze, but we get a doozy of a storm that comes through or just one of our normal windy days that the tree has that support it needs. And a 2-point system is great. A 3-point system is even better. That way it can move, can be a kind of a pain in the butt to mow or maintain around, but is what it is. So
You probably need to put a
first,
fence around it too, so the bunnies
well,
and the deer don't get
exactly.
it.
So that's kind of step 3, and that's part of this dependence on us. We need to make sure that we are protecting our investment. We have rabbit pressure, we have deer pressure. So if that's fencing around it, if that's a tree guard on the trunk, and then remember protection not only during the summer months, but during the winter months. And that continues for animal pressure, but that also is for the elements. So let's see, sometime in January, I think it was January, there was an article going around about trees exploding. And that's because we have fluctuation of temperature and moisture is moving up and down the trunks of the tree. And what happens when water freezes is it expands. So we can get some splitting of trees. We can also get splitting of trees when the winter sun is starting to get strong at the end of February and March. And it's warming up the south and southwest, west side of the tree. And in the summer, all of a sudden, we'll see damage or sun scald on that side of the tree where that winter sun got strong, but the ground and the ability to draw water was not, and they weren't able to do so because everything was frozen. So we want to use a tree wrap would be ideal, a white or paper colored tree wrap, a tree guard, like those white corrugated guards that you'll see. We ship our container trees with a guard on because then it's there for protection against the animals or, rubbing up against the trailer or the back of the truck on the way home. That guard can be a great preventative for winter damage as well. I still prefer a tree wrap. I always say dress them up for Halloween, so like a mummy, and then undress them about the first week of April, sometimes second or third week of April. Keep in mind that until there's other food sources for rabbits and rodents, mice, that if you unwrap too early and that maple is moving moisture and it's got good sugar in it, that those animals know and they go after them. So timing the removal of your tree wrap and putting a tree guard or a fence back on. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of step 3 on that dependency. So we're watering, we're staking, we're protecting from animal damage. Now, in years, say 2 through 5, customer bought a tree at Natural Plus. They planted it out. Here we are in year 2, year 3. Watch the weather. We again want to babysit or provide moisture when needed, provide protection when needed, but we also want them to get well established on their own. In general, I'm kind of plant it out there and take care of yourself, like figure it out sort of thing. So, like I say, my houseplants thrive on neglect. Like
Mhm.
they're not going to make it if they don't. But year two on a tree, quite honestly, unless we're in 2 weeks of drought period, let Mother Nature take care of it. If you do too much watering, too much babysitting, we're not getting that root system developed in years 2 through 5. So watch the weather. If it's been really hot and dry and it's, oh, it's been 10 days, oh, it's been 14 days, absolutely. Get out there, get everybody a good soak. Continue to do your animal protection, continue to do your winter protection, especially on fruit, smooth bark trees like maples. We want to continue to provide winter protection until that bark is rough, until it becomes corrugated. Then it has its own natural defense for, winter damage, sun scald, and more animal protection, that sort of thing. So year 2 through 5, we're kind of watching, we're seeing what happens. Really, we're starting to see exponential growth happen in year 3, 4, 5 through 15 is crazy. That's when we go, oh, look, that tree we planted really looks like something. And, quite honestly, depending on the tree, some life expectancy is 15 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years, but the bulk of them, 40, 50, 60. And obviously, we know about our century trees that will be here long after that were here before we got here and will also be here long after we're gone. So that's kind of a gist of um, general homeowner care. You, of course, want to think about what's not only above ground, but underground, fertilization, root stimulators, plant starters when you first put it in the ground, fertilizer while that plant is young, maybe something that's a little higher on the middle number. So, when you see a fertilizer analysis, it's NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. That middle number, that phosphorus, is what promotes rooting. So most root stimulants, most plant starters, you're looking for a higher middle number, and that's what we're trying to get, into that root zone. Remember that the turf lawn will steal quite a bit of moisture, quite a bit of nutrients. So getting your fertilizer and getting your water down to that root zone is important. And, once that tree is well established and large and its root system is extended out, some people will still broadcast or put fertilizer down in the ground, but it's probably getting what it needs out of the soil there. We talk, and I think we've talked about selecting the right plant for the right place, not trying to, you know, grow a willow or a river birch where it's bone dry and sandy, and also the other end of the spectrum. So take your time and discuss with the staff what your goal is, where you plan to plant this tree. If you've done a soil test, if there's been a tree there in the past, if it's thrived, if it was old, if it kicked the bucket after 4 years, so you can help make an educated decision going into what you're going to need to do to have that plant beat that century plant, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
There's a couple questions from just listening to you talk, and we've been telling our customers things that maybe we need to rethink. We usually tell people not to put fertilizer in the first year. Is,
Sure.
is that something that they should be doing?
A full strength regular fertilizer, like if you went and picked up a granular 10-10-10 or urea or something, I would say no.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
use a full strength general fertilizer. You need to be using something that is meant for the initial planting time,
Okay.
a starter fertilizer. I prefer an organic granular food. It's slower acting, longer lasting, no chance of burning either root systems or tops. And quite in general, Mary, you're better off not fertilizing in that first year than doing something too much or overdoing it or whatever. But most, especially granular organics, can be mixed in the soil in the planting hole or placed at the drip line of the tree, 2, 3 feet out from the trunk. So those roots, as they start to expand and grow, get into that. So if you put the tree in May, and it might be reaching that a little bit more come mid or end of summer. And also a very good thing to note with fertilizer, and I think this really stems from your question, so thank you for asking that, is we don't fertilize nursery stock after August 1st. A light starter fertilizer, I might even cut the dose in half, but in general, if you haven't fertilized by the 1st of August, you're going to wait until spring. What happens, you're shaking your head, yes, yes.
That's a great point. Thank you for saying that.
Yes, what happens is fertilizer obviously will promote some new growth. And if we're promoting a bunch of new growth in the fall, that new growth may not have time to acclimate and harden off before winter comes. We see this especially on shrub material. They get 3-4 inches of new growth in the fall because they got a food source or some extra moisture or something. And then come spring, we've got 3 to 4 inches of dead tips because that new growth did not have time to acclimate and harden off before winter came. And then we have all these dead tips in the springtime. So good thoughts on fertilizer for sure.
I have another follow-up question. If your tree is cracking, if it's got the sun scald or it's exploding, you said, what is there anything you can do? And is it going to live? We get that question all the
Yeah,
time. And I usually tell
sure.
people I can't predict the future.
No, I wish we had a magic
I
8
know.
ball
Let me
or
see. Is your
whatever, but
tree going to live? Hmm.
yes. So in general, most of the time, if we have a damage to one side of the tree, a crack, a sun scald, the rest of the tree is intact. Therefore, the xylem and phloem, the veins of the tree are still intact. One damage on one side of the tree is usually never going to be the demise of the tree. Should you do anything about that damage is a great question. And usually we let the trees heal over on themselves. There are some pruning paints on the market. There are some bandages on the market. But what you need to be conscious of is that we're not holding excess moisture there. We're not inviting bugs or something that may attract a disease issue. So in my mind, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 times, let the tree heal itself. It will kind of like fold over on itself and kind of gray or brown out. And that way, you're okay there. Putting on a guard or something can cause problems because it can hold excess moisture on that open wound. Even same with pruning. A lot of people ask, okay, I'm going to prune off some branches. What should I do? Well, make that cut during the correct time of year and you don't need to do anything extra. And the dead of winter, February, maybe early March is a great time to get your pruning done on your orchards, especially things that there's disease or pest pressure on, oaks, that sort of thing. You'll notice if you're pruning in late winter that maples will try to bleed a little bit because they're starting to move some of that moisture during the freeze thaw cycle. But in general, yeah, let the tree heal itself and it should be okay.
We just want to fix everything, don't we?
Yeah, we
It's
do.
lovely. I love when our customers care. That is
Yes.
so important. And you mentioned to really be paying attention. You want to pay attention to the weather. You want to pay attention to what your plant is doing, but you also don't want to intervene so much that the plant doesn't get to be itself.
Correct. Yep. Spot
It's
on.
nature. Nature
Yes.
knows. Nature is way more wise than we will ever be. And
Yeah,
we
there you
need to learn
go.
to trust her more.
Yes, agreed.
Awesome. This was such a great conversation. I'm going to have you back if you're open. I'm
Thanks,
sure there
Mary.
will be more as the
Appreciate.
season starts. We're going to have more questions for you. But for now, that was
Yes, of course.
so, thank you for your time and your energy. And I can tell that you're really passionate about what you do, and that's inspiring.
Yeah, same. Thanks to you and Dave. You guys have a beautiful place there. It's a joy to come and see you every time I visit. And we hope to continue to provide you with quality plant material and be an extended resource for you.
Thank you. And listener, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to The Dirt from Natural Plus Nursery. If you dug this episode, subscribe to our newsletter so you never miss a tip, sale, or a behind the scenes look at our nursery business. Happy planting!